It would be interesting to get insight of a leader with the business community. Please, Abdullah, الزامل.
Assalamu alaikum. Sabahkum Allah bil khair. I think you've seen enough numbers and graphs. I'm not known to be politically correct, so please allow me to be blunt. I've been asked to talk about the private sector. Their Excellencies this morning talked about a vision launched to address challenges. And I think we need to talk about challenges openly. And we definitely need to untangle a very complex web of structural issues on the government side as well as on the private sector side. I've been in the private sector for over 30 years. So I think I'm allowed to be critical of my own industry, and I'll do so that we can set the stage going forward what needs to be done by the government, what needs to be done by Vision 2030. I'll draw an analogy here, if you allow me, a bit dramatic, but maybe it can send a very strong message to the people engaged in drafting the vision as well as the people engaged in implementing the vision. Let's for a minute assume that the government is the parent, and the parent has 3 sons, and the 3 sons have got their own problems. One of them is overweight, obese. The other one is spoiled brat, spoiled kid. And the third one is an addict, a very tough addict. All 3 of them need to be worked on. And I'll be specific. The overweight one represents the ones that own private land, the ones that were in the real estate business. They represent the biggest wealth. So going forward, it will be a challenge dealing with them. Because in terms of private wealth, they represent probably the single largest ultra high net worth individual money in the bank. Their value has gone down because the land has gone down, but they will have a major issue in bridging where they were in terms of the old economy versus where they need to be with the new economy. So that's the first kid that we have to deal with, the overweight kid. We come to the spoiled kid. Big chunk of them are sitting right here in front of me. Banks, oil and gas, petrochemicals. Those are companies that worked in an environment very much structured, very much to a certain extent manipulistic, subsidized in a heavy way. However, very efficient, the highest single Saudization. So they are not the bad kid on the block, but they have had their own benefits going forward. Now we come to the third one, which represents the biggest chunk among the private sector. And those are us, the addicts. We're addicted to cheap labor. We're addicted to government subsidy. We're addicted to government projects. Now, you cannot come overnight and say, we will not allow you to bring in cheap labor, nor will we allow you to take cheap energy and power. And over and above that, you have to pay VAT and you have to pay levies on foreign workforce. Like any addict, you need a rehab period. And that rehab period might be a bit longer than you might wish. But overnight, to withdraw that addiction will take us into the withdrawal syndrome. And this is exactly where we are today. We stand at a withdrawal syndrome, left in a corner somewhere, and saying you need to implement Vision 2030. I think the government realized that. Last year, His Excellency the Minister said the government announced a 200 billion Riyal stimulus program. Where is it? I haven't seen it. I have not seen the stimulus program on the ground yet. of which 72 billion was supposed to be in 2018. I must be missing something. But the stimulus package that has been announced, and we as private sector participated in almost every workshop that has been announced. Actually, I wrote on Twitter a few months ago, there are more workshops in Riyadh than there are workshops for cars. Every hotel room you go to, every hotel lobby, there's a government workshop. And we participated. However, the stimulus program needs to be launched. It needs to be, there will be mistakes along the way. It's a self-correcting model. Now, I cannot say that the government lacks implementation knowledge, because they don't. When it came to VAT implementation, when it came to foreign workforce levy implementation, you were fantastic. It took you 24 hours to do so. And you were awarded by international bodies as being so fantastic. So why has a stimulus package taken so long to implement, since you're so good in implementation? That's my question to you all. And maybe this would stimulate more questions to the panel. Thank you very much.
Thanks.